The same concept.
The same location.
2 photographers.
2 different results.
The concept. All right, so you guys want to do next concept?
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Okay, we're excited.
Here we go.
Okay.
Okay. We'll both do it at the same time.
Okay.
And the
good.
award goes to...
Episode 3.
Oh, this is so mine.
Yeah, it is.
That's so mine. Awesome.
The theme is Back to the Future.
Oh, there we go.
And
yeah,
it's my
this is
choice.
Yeah, this is
So-
like Lindsay's day.
So I'm gonna Back to the Future. For me, futuristic is like alien or like sterile, and I'm not gonna get a sterile environment with Brooke, especially outside. So we're gonna shoot in the studio. Ooh. Just love me.
I do.
I'll be nice. My studio has natural light. You could do something with that.
I will. I can guarantee that.
Okay. All right. Awesome. All right. So what are you thinking?
I'm thinking that there's no way that I'm gonna shoot something shiny or futuristic or anything like that. So I'll leave that to you.
Okay, I'll do that.
So I'm gonna have to go with the past and getting back to this future instead of the future.
I'm working on following.
I'm going to get back to the future of the character, which is our present.
Okay, I understand. Okay,
Yeah.
so like,
Time machine
so
cheats.
someone who's like in the someone in the 1800s trying to get to
Exactly.
now. Okay,
Exactly.
that's cool.
And
Nice.
from there, I don't know. So we're gonna have to think.
Okay, I just know that I want clean, like really, really clean, not messy. And I think I'm going the alien route because that's like my favorite models are the ones that aren't like really soft and feminine. I like the, like really kind of alien-esque ones. And so I have a perfect model in mind. And maybe metal. I think of metal, sterile, futuristic. So I think that's what I'm gonna do. Some kind of metal, studio, futuristic, alien. I think that's my starting point. So we'll see what else goes from there.
Sounds
Nice.
cool.
Awesome.
You guys feel good about this?
Oh, yeah.
If you need a DeLorean, I have a friend Ian, he can probably fly it back to the future.
Oh,
I
okay.
used it, so.
Is he really?
You even have the, what's it called?
The flux
Capacitor in there? What a nerd!
Functional one that he made.
A functional one? Meaning it lights up?
It uses
Meaning
fuel
it
cells.
takes you back to
I was like,
See, if I were doing this my style, I'd use the train that they use to get back to the
Oh,
future.
There you go.
that makes
Nice.
sense.
I just watched those movies for the
Yeah.
first time.
What?
Like,
Oh my God.
yeah.
Would you like them?
Yes, ish.
Oh.
Ish. No,
That
ish.
was
Okay, so I am one of those photographers, this is the opposite of Brooke, that saves hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of images for reference. And that's completely fine. So I was going back through my images and looking for things that referenced future to me. And I found these images where it looked like the model was in like a mirror or like a shiny, I don't know, like a sterile room almost. So I don't have money to make a sterile, shiny room. So one of the great things about New York is you can get everything and anything here, like everything and anything. So I went to this craft shop, and at the craft shop I got large pieces of foam core, the ones that you'd make bookends with. So like the 4 by 8 feet or whatever it is. I got 2 of those, and then I went and got poster board, but it was shiny silver. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna glue that to the foam core, and the materials cost me under $100, you know? Because I looked up online, there's something that they use for cars that you can overlay on cars to make it shiny, but that was like $500 for the amount that I needed. So I got under 100 for this. I'm gonna put it on the foam core, and what I'm gonna try to do is put it behind her and like box her in. So I'm thinking if I can get metallic-y makeup, like shiny makeup, have maybe some shiny silver jewelry, and then have her in that box posing, I'll do what I usually do where I over smooth the skin completely. I'll get rid of all the texture. I'll make it completely white skin, like pale as it goes.
Nice.
So it's milky, so it's pale silver alien in a silver box with silver jewelry. That's how I'm gonna do it, I think. So
Nice.
maybe a gel, maybe a blue gel, make it. I don't know. I'm gonna have to feel like you'll see. I'll probably test a little bit of everything. Yeah, like a little cool, sterile, futuristic.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty positive you'll see me change my mind like 10 times. So we'll do that.
Part of fun.
Absolutely.
I'm not being futuristic like Lindsay, obviously, and I want to do something that's old and rusty and metal, but not shiny metal, nothing new, something very old to match the time period that I'm going for, which isn't really a specific time period, it's just old. Anything that's not current is what I'm going for, and sort of an eclectic mix as well. So I am going to do a number of things to achieve this. I'm going to dig through a dumpster that's outside and try to find as many cans as I can. And if I can't find rusty cans, which I'm pretty sure that I won't be able to in a dumpster that's only a week old, I'm going to get spray paint, and I'm going to spray paint the cans so then it has a rusted metallic look to it. And as far as I've developed my concept so far, I'm going to have the subject holding a tin can up to her ear with the, sort of like she's having a phone call in the olden days. I don't know if they actually ever did that, but whatever. And we're going to have either rope or metal or something coming from that can and hooking up to the wall, so it's like she's trying to get back in touch with her future self, trying to get back to the future, literally. But it's her process of doing so. So instead of going, being futuristic or taking a look at a time period, it's all about the character and how she can reconnect with the future.
She's gonna make a can call.
Can call.
You gonna go steampunkish with this at all?
A little bit.
Nitty-gritty?
I plan on stealing someone's glasses and giving her big glasses and teasing her hair up and having her just kind of like look absolutely nuts and crazy. And we'll see how steampunkish we can go because I love steampunk.
Yeah.
So let's take a look at what I ended up with. So first told my wardrobe stylist, Lisa, okay, futuristic, lots of shapes, and so we got this, and then when I figured out that I was going to shoot in the silver wedge, I said, okay, how about metallics and shiny? So we have this gorgeous corset, which we're going to talk about in a second. So I know we had shiny, silver, metallics on the body, nice shape that makes it futuristic, and then for Griselle, I directed her to do it for hair and makeup. Sleek, because that's alien-like for the hair, but let's put silver metallics, and I'm gonna Photoshop her to be really pale. So she has nice sheen on her cheeks. I actually put silver in her forehead to make it even more futuristic. And so with the help of Dave and Becky, I made a set, which is kind of a silver V. It's just on a silver poster board and foam core, and so that's where we're going to have her. So I'm gonna talk to a couple members of the team really quick. All right, how you feeling? Good. Okay, awesome. So would you like to talk about this? Oh man. And introduce yourself as well.
My name is Verity Hill. I'm known mostly for my corsetry, but I do lots of headpieces and gowns and everything. Excuse me. So when Lisa mentioned that she was doing a futuristic photo shoot and we wanted to go with silvers, I found this gunmetal sequin fabric that I thought would be really good, because sometimes when there's the really bright silver, it can kind of tend to look white.
Yeah.
And then I, added spikes, which are always, a good, a good
Yes.
embellishment. And then we have a rhinestone trim as well, just something to capture the light, give it some texture. And then there's also some chains with spikes as well. But, seeing this whole outfit complete, I think it complements it really well. And,
And I've photographed many of your pieces, and they're always beautiful, like beautiful
thank
construction,
you.
and like avant-garde in the perfect way. So thank you so much. I love it.
thank
It makes
you.
it perfect. Great.
Okay, thank you.
Cool. Okay, so tell us about the outfit today.
Well, you said you wanted Back to the Future, so I brought Back to the Future. I like the structure. It looks like almost like an alien taking over. I've always been into the Star Wars type feel. So it's like a board. So that's what I tried to build up. I know you said you wanted some silver. I brought the accessories and the corset, and I felt that that would
Perfect.
take it to the next level.
Great. Thank you, Lisa Pisa. And say website or company. Wait, come back.
LSCstyling.com. And my company is fourseasonstylemanagement.com.
Perfect.
Bye-bye.
All right, let's shoot. Please put your hands up. Alright, so I had Dave and Becky help me build this, and also Ashley was an extreme help. So we glued it down, just pieces of poster board, and then we rigged it up there with C-clamps and stands. It's not sturdy construction, so I'm not gonna have her lean on it or anything. But here's what I did. I knew that I wanted an overhead light that was gonna kind of flatter her features. Beauty dish is my go-to, white beauty dish, so that's where I started. Alright, so the next part of that though was the height. And actually my initial thought was, alright, I knew there was gonna be a reflection if I had it low. So I put that light really, really high, but then when I had a lot of shape and shadow, it wasn't sterile anymore. Like it wasn't that clean look. So I lowered the light down and I'm like, oh crap, a reflection. And then I'm like, oh wait, it looks really cool. So I'm gonna show you what it looks like. And then what I did is to fill in the shadows, because I wanted it to be higher key, but I didn't want it to be flat, I used a blue gel light, because to me, blue gels are futuristic, and so it was a matter of like, okay, let's raise that light up high, no, too many shadows, all right, lower is good, but there's a lens flare from the reflection, oh, I like it, because it looks like those super stale rooms where they're so white, everything wraps around in those futuristic movies when they're abducted, that kind of thing. And then to fill in the shadows to make it even higher key, glue gel from beneath. All right, so I'm just gonna stand you right there until I get the light just right. Can you turn your body a little bit more towards the light? Yep, and then take a half step back. Right there, so I think that's going to be better. And let me just this. Let's see. And look up towards the light real quick. Let's see. Alright, so I'm going to have you stand face towards me again. But actually, yeah, feel your body against it. Right there, perfect. Let's try that one. Looking. I might want here. Let me test this. With the light lower and flatter to her, it kind of wipes everything out. But if she had a really round face, that light wouldn't work because it would just look really round. But if you look at the makeup plus her facial structure, she'll have cheekbones anyway. And that's one of the great things about a makeup artist. I'm having my light low and flat, but she still has structure because of the makeup. So that's where I start. And that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna work with poses and the blue filling in the shadows, and it's cool and funky. And I've got to Photoshop out, I'm glad you like it. I've got to Photoshop out the seams if I don't want them. But the alternative was this thing that you put on cars that makes them shiny or something. It was like $500 for what I needed. I was like, no way. We'll do poster board and we'll Photoshop it.
And mirrors
Yeah.
wouldn't have worked?
Well, the mirrors would be more of a direct reflection. It would be too high key. This is more of like that shimmer. See how it's like not an exact reflection? I thought that looked a little more what I was going for, like that. So, and look at her makeup though. Her face looks,
It's like
Yeah,
three
more
different people,
metallic.
you know?
Exactly, like aliens.
so I mean her face looks already, and that's why people are like, oh, how do you Photoshop your face is white? I'm like, well, start with really pale people. Like, you know, and then flatter light. But I am gonna, in post, what I'll do is in Lightroom probably, pull out the yellows and the reds in the photo, and her skin will go white, like white. So, and guys, your camera settings, ISO 100, 1/200th of a second, or 1/125th, it doesn't matter, it's your shutter speed, and then f8. So I'm gonna shoot this until I think I've got what I want, and then I'll just pass it around. And you have to shoot with, I mean, I have the little things, but.
It's a good thing they're replaceable and don't match.
Okay, now can you do a wider
You're shooting-
stance? Okay. Yes.
You're shooting pretty wide too, right?
Yes. So I'm trying to make her look endlessly tall.
Send me that thing already?
endlessly tall. So I'm gonna shoot like, I'll check how many millimeters I'm at. We'll take a look here. I'm gonna shoot really low and really tall.
So you're getting full body and have some.
Yeah, this one I'm gonna get full body. And eyes up.
So the best part of the day for me was just going out with all of the APs and being able to run around and gather supplies, because that is why I love photography so much. You know, it's not the actual clicking of the camera, it's the fact that you get to go out and build a whole scene that wasn't there to begin with. So the fact that we could go out as a group and bond over digging through the trash was really, really cool. And I think that it inspired all of us a little bit, because we were finding things that were just very unusual that we could use in photo shoots. And so that was definitely my favorite part of the day. And even if this picture never amounts to anything that I'm personally satisfied with, I still have the memory of it, and that makes it all worth it. Gonna shoot a little bit wide here so that I can crop instead of expanding my frame or anything like that, because I have kind of a lot of stuff that I need to get in one shot here. So I might do this two ways. I might hold this wire up to her ear and then attach it to the wall and shoot it with this big wire, or I might use a string. So I have two options, and I'm gonna get both options because I couldn't decide in time. And this thing is bendable, so that's really good. Could I? Hold on. Bend this. Okay. So I'm gonna have you hold that up to your ear. Yes, exactly. That's gonna fall. Okay, so try to hold that steady and then against the wall. The top. There you go. Perfect. Okay, good. Now, if you can turn your body just more towards the window. Yep, exactly. Yep, and then you can fake that a little bit, so then you're like pushing it so the top is against the wall more. The top part of this. There you go.
I love this, Brooke.
Thank you.
I'll be your personal assistant.
Okay, so that was my one test shot that I'm going to take, and I'm gonna try to lock everything down after this and just see what needs to change. So I'm shooting this scene. I have her turn towards the window because I want light on her face, because I'm gonna have her make an expression in just a second. Typically, I'll make expressions in Photoshop later, but in this case, I needed her to have sort of a surprised look, so I need to have her mouth open, and I can't open her mouth later on in Photoshop, so I'm gonna do that now. And then I'm going to try to get a slightly more dynamic pose. Nothing fashiony, of course. I don't want her like hand on her hip or anything pretty like that, even though it would be gorgeous if I did. But instead, I'm going to sort of bring her hand just up to rest gently on her stomach hip area. So why don't you go ahead and down a little bit further? Down. Oh, sorry. I know you have a lot to handle.
Okay, I'll just hold it until hold it until you're ready.
Sounds good. Good. Down more. Good. And then soften the hand a lot. Good. Just like that. Good. So now there's a nice detail, because I want my eye to go to her hand, because I think that it's really nice and soft and pretty, but also really creepy, especially because her veins are popping out, which I really like. It's something that you cannot plan for, but it looks really good. And now I'm going to just take my shutter speed down a little bit to brighten things up. So I'm at f3.5, ISO 400, and at 80 for my shutter speed. Good. So I'm taking a look. Everything looks nice and bright and perfect how I want it. She is in focus, thank goodness.
And can you see floor to ceiling from where you
I can see maybe like 6 inches above the copper, and then to just below the cans here.
So are you gonna do where you put like can down and get more?
I wasn't going to at first, but now that I'm looking at the frame, I'm gonna get a little bit more of the floor and a little bit more of the ceiling. So not a full like tilt up and tilt down, but just a little bit extra. Okay, so the couple of things that I'm gonna do after I take this first shot, I'm gonna move the cans around. So once I have the shot of the model, which is what I call my main shot, that's like the first shot with as much happening in it as possible, I'm going to have her just stand there just for continuity's sake and shadows and everything, and then move the cans all around her so then I can composite lots of cans in instead of just a couple on the floor. Okay, so Carolyn, if I could get you to sort of gasp, like with open mouth, and then actually do the like, good, okay. So I'm just gonna zoom in on her face here and see how that looked. And she looks way too happy. So let's try to look super sad. And if you don't wanna open your mouth that far, that's fine. And go ahead. Good. And now let's do one with wide eyes. Perfect. Okay. So I'm just taking a look at this, making sure that I have what I need. And I'm going to do one more because I want a more dynamic body shape. So I'm gonna have you turn your body towards the window even more. There you go, good. And then arch your back as much as you can. Good. And push your hips forward. There you go. Yes, there. Exactly. And then tilt your chin up a bit. Good.
Tell me when you let my hand out.
I'll let you know.
Okay.
And then you can bring your head over to me a little bit more. Good. Perfect. Okay, so now you can take your hand away.
Ready? You good?
And same thing, same picture. Good. So now that I've got that main shot, that's what I'm looking for, and I'm just gonna do my extras now, and that's before I ever move my camera. So I'm not gonna tilt down or tilt up or do anything until I get the extra cans in, and I wanna be able to composite everything first and then add on to my frame a little bit later. So I'm just going to get out from behind my camera, and in fact, you can just hand that over to Lindsay if you like, and just stand there relaxed. And I'm just moving the cans. To create a nice pile of them. Thank you. Now I'm gonna lock my focus down at this point, so I'm just flipping to manual focus. And the reason why I'm doing that is if she moves at all, or if she moves out of the frame completely, then my focus point is gonna shift when I click my photo. So just to keep it all locked down, I'm on manual. And at this point, I'm just clicking. And it's really simple now because I already have the shot, so I don't even have to look.
So you're not necessarily trying to get the cans in focus?
Nope, not at all. Yeah, I mean, in fact, I would like them to be slightly out of focus because I think that it adds a nice depth and believability to it. I'm just going to set my 10-second timer here since I'm too lazy to go get my remote. And I'm just gonna move her dress a little bit. So if you can go back into generally the, yeah, there you go. Now I'm gonna check to see how that looks. And if that looks good, then we've got everything that we need. Yep, that looked really nice. The only thing that I'm missing is doing the same thing with the piece of string. So I'm gonna get that now just for safety.
I have the ladder to look on it.
It doesn't matter, it could go like right there.
Oh, you just slow line.
And then just the tiny bit, and then sort of. Yes, there we go. And same thing with you, just exactly as you did before. And I'm just gonna go ahead and snap this. Oh yes, of course. Hold that for 10 seconds.
Thanks.
That's my most common problem. Okay, that looks really good. Perfect. Yep. So now I'm going to have Lindsay step out and you can stay right where you are. And I'm keeping her where she is for shadow purposes, just making sure the light doesn't change too much. And I'm just going to tilt my camera down and up. And so my focus is locked. So is my camera. And I'm just tilting down a little bit. Oh, for goodness sake.
Oh, repeat.
I know, we'll just wait for it. it is what it is. Okay, now I'll take it off. And then do the same thing and tilt it up. Which isn't as important because it's a white wall, but I figure I'd get it anyways. So when I first started working with the makeup artist, she said, you know, what kind of look do you want? And then I said tired, because I didn't know what else to say, because I don't usually work with a makeup artist. So I told her Victorian, I told her pale, I told her that if she could look sickly in some way, that would be good. And I was laughing to myself because these are probably all things that makeup artists don't usually hear. But it really put her in the character, and I was trying to emphasize that, you know, she is a character. It's not a model trying to look beautiful. It's a character trying to look the part. So I said red around the eyes, pale, and she came up with great ideas too, like having just a little bit of color on the inside of her lips, which gave her that sickly sort of look. And she did white eyelashes and then white eyebrows too, which I didn't ask for, but was perfect because she knew exactly what I meant when I said Victorian. So it ended up being really smooth. My photo, I tend to feel very secure in if I got a shot or if I didn't get a shot. And I do feel like I got something that's very workable today. I plan on taking the white wall that was behind the subject and turning that into a peeling wallpaper wall. So if I can successfully change the scene enough and make it look less like a studio, then I'm gonna be really happy with this picture.
The biggest challenge that I had in this shoot was the lighting and the reflections, because there were endless reflections. It is a big metallic shiny surface, and so every angle that I took, whether I moved to the left a little or to the right or up or down, it moved the large highlights created by the two lights I had. I played with two different light sources. I had a bronze color, first of all it was a long throw, also called the telezoom reflector, as a main light for some of them. In another shot I also used Beauty Dish on the face. And then the second light that I had was filling in the shadows with the blue gel. So what I would do is I would set my main light, try to figure out how much shadow I want, how much drama. And I put that on her face and I direct it. And then I'd fill in the shadows with blue, because when there's no light in the shadows, when you introduce a color, it just absorbs that color. So the shadows would just become blue because there's no other light hitting it. So what I had to try to figure out is, okay, the balance of how much shadow I want compared to how much light, and then those reflections. Did I want to use them? Were they adding to it? Because it would be bright, almost lens flare that would wrap around the subject, or was it distracting and was it pulling my eye away? So I just shot out always. I shot with the lens flare directly behind her head. I shot where I cropped it out of the frame. I shot where I had it coming from behind her body and around her elbows. So I'm gonna have to look and see what I like, because it had very, very different effects. So I'd say the lighting was the biggest challenge. And what I was doing is I was using a Sigma 24-70. And depending on what angle I was at, I could crop in, zoom in instead of having to move my body. I could zoom in a little bit to crop out the highlights I didn't want. And for some of the full-length shots, I got down really low and I shot wider, like 35 millimeters, because that made her look epically tall. Whereas for some of the closer, more beauty shots, I was shooting at the 70. And I did take some beauty shots of her at the end, because whenever I do a photo shoot, I always make sure I get beauty shots, tight shots of the model, because that's probably better for their portfolio, and I want to do something for them as well. So I did switch over to a Sigma 70-200, and I got a bunch of really tight shots, maybe in the 105 to 120 range. So it would be a little bit more flattering, because that might be better for her portfolio than, say, a full-length futuristic shot.
I was watching Lindsay shoot today, and when I saw the model styled, I knew that it was going to be fantastic, because the clothes came together beautifully. It was extremely futuristic, and I know Lindsay and I know her photography, so I know that if everything looks bold and sort of in your face and graphic, then it's going to be what she likes, and she's going to turn out an amazing picture. So when I saw the model, I knew that it was all over for me, because she was going to do something amazing with it. And then she created these walls, and they were shiny, and the whole thing just looked like, I don't know, a futuristic spaceship or something. So I really liked it, and it's completely opposite of anything I would ever consider photographing, and that's why I was so drawn to it, because it's not something that I look at and think, oh, I want to do that, or how would I do that. It's just something that I can disconnect from in a way and say, wow, this is something that's not me, and that's why I love it so much.
the more that I watch Brooke shoot, like the more that I love what she does because it's so beautiful. And something that I overheard in her confession was that she likes things that she wouldn't do or maybe couldn't do, or what she did is not something that I would ever do, and it's not how my brain is wired. And that's why I love it, because I love seeing different people's takes on it. Like, I would never, ever in a million years think futuristic with Victorian dress and old can. In a million years, but I know, I can already see that it's going to be beautiful, and I love that. That's why I like working with her, because I'll do something, I think this is going to be one of the examples where we're about as far apart as possible in this particular challenge and this concept. So I think she did a great job, and I can already see it with the light, and it's soft, and the mood is right, and I can see the wall that she's going to add. I can see what it's going to turn out like. Can't wait to see it though.
Hi everyone, Brooke Shaden here. We can't fit everything into our episodes, so head over to the Pro Download section and you can check out tutorials and extra content that's available for download.